First class of the day. Ready? Hands up. Shoulder height, turning. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, and stop. Hands to the side. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, and stop. Okay, hands up. Reach down. 1, 2, 3. To your right, to your left, center. Inhale, exhale. Hands up. Reach down. 1, 2, 3. To your right, to your left, center. Inhale, exhale. Okay, one more time. Hands up. Reach down. 1, 2, 3. To your right, to your left, center. Inhale, exhale. Okay, hands in your waist. Circular movements. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 1, 2. Reverse. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 1, 2. Sun across. Knees. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 1, reverse. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 1, 2. Center, hands on your waist. Neck turning. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 1, 2. Back and forth. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 1, 2. Center. Tilt to the side. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 1, 2. Center. Rotating. 1, 2, 3. Reverse. 1, 2, 3. Center. Hands up, pulling. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale, exhale. Okay, spread your feet. Turn your shoulders. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 1, 2, 3, and stop. Okay, turn, stretch it out. Switch. 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 Straighten the front knee. Switch. 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 Okay, center. Okay, shake it out. Deep breathing. Inhale. Okay, hands in your waist. Shoulder roll. switch. And center. Okay. Arm swing. Exhale, inhale. And stop. Deep breathing, inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Okay, circular movements. Reverse. Okay, palms down. Bigger circle. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, and stop. Okay, shake it out. Okay, hands here. We're going to go side to side. Okay, here, lift up. And center. Okay, let's switch. Let's do insert needle. And switch. And center. Okay, shake it out. Okay, swing the arms. We're going to get the leg going. Leg swing. Okay, center, switch. And center. Okay, side to side. Switch. And center. Okay, shake it out. Deep breathing. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Okay, hands here. Silk grilling. Switch. Okay, cross, open and close. Switch. Okay, center. Feet parallel, circular movements. Okay, lower hoop. Shoulder height. Elbows down. Okay. Palms down. Extend. Sing. Fingertips pointing down. Okay, hands up. Deep breathing. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Okay. Any questions on these? Diagonal flying. Switch. Okay, center. Cloud hands. Okay, palms down, lift up. Carry tiger to the mountain. Okay, infinity sign. And center. Okay, form the fists. Okay, strum the lute, palms together. Okay, draw the bow. Okay, fan through the back. Okay, raise the hand. Okay, palms down. Deep breathing. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Okay, good. So go through the short form first. Okay, ready? Ready position. Feet parallel. Preparation. Begin. Okay, deep breathing. Okay. So you want to go through the long form first and then go through some questions, or you want to do a few, um, question and answers for the short form? Uh, oh, beat the tiger. Yeah. Okay. So that's going into the long form. So, okay, beat the tiger. Let's go like this. Okay, and like this. Okay. So that beat the tiger's a hand position like this. Okay. So in the form, we're like this. Okay. So that's your target position. This, see how your hand, let's do this. Let's do that. So there's your upper hoop. Okay. Now this hand position doesn't change. The only thing that changes is your torso. Okay. So when we turn, this is the oblique body position. Oblique means facing the corner. Now oblique means slanted also, right? So it depends on the plane of movement. So if you get the body form like this, and then this hand goes like to your center line position. So we make a fist, and that's your position, right? So then let's go to this oblique position like this. We bring our hand up like this, and then turn to the corner. That's this hand movement. Now that is really this, right? But we don't have to close the hands. We just drop the elbow, go across the torso to the backside. Make your fist. Okay, turn this way. Create the circle and turn your body. But look at the stance. So the knee is not like this, it's like this. So why does this knee end up like this? It ends up like that because the hip wasn't relaxed to open, right? So, when I sometimes speak of release the tension in the joints, while we're looking at the hands, we forget the legs. While we're looking at the elbow, we forget the hip. So that's because, the level of focus and, sort of consciousness is really focusing on one thing at a time. So really we have to go through like the process, and then we have to kind of scan our body in a position to see what that posture you're creating looks like. So that's the image. So when we're here, facing this corner, how did we get to that corner position? Well, we started here, right? Right after, when we got back to after parry and punch, we got to this position, right? That's like a starting position. We flipped the hands over just like the first kick, and here's the corner. Okay, now we're in that corner, our torso's there, okay. Now we're going to lift the elbow and then lift the knee, and we're in that corner. Open the stance and cross behind. Then still stay in the corner, track that line, and then we're here. Now we turn the hand out and create that position and close the fist. That's beat the tiger on that side. If we do close the fist, drop the elbow to vertical, pass right in front of the body till we get to the back corner. Turn back into that corner, and then lean into this, and now we're here and beat the tiger. Now we look over there, we're like this, but we're going to sit back and turn, leaving the body facing that way till we straighten that foot out and sit. So now see my torso's folded. So if your body didn't end up here, it's because your body was somewhat square here, and you turned and you didn't release your body, so you ended up like that. So that means your back had tension. See, so while we're learning to manipulate our skeletal structure to get into these different positions, the body has to recognize and knows when to release and separate and combine. So that's what combine and separate means. That the segments of your body learn to, sort of open and close, really. So this idea of opening and closing that we talk about, substantial and insubstantial, becomes something that we have to not just mentally understand, but physically understand. So, that gets into sort of a little bit more complex ideas of how you should move your body. Because most of the time, the body's just like a lump. It just kind of moves around like that. Doesn't do much of anything because it doesn't know what to do. Some process has to happen that allows the body to go through this. So that's information. So without information, what does the body know? Practically nothing, except for what you've accumulated as information over the decades and decades. You've been sort of, on earth, right? You just go through the motions. But when you start to do something like Tai Chi and you go through the motions in the beginning, you realize that going through the motions isn't enough. So we have to go and kind of, understand the process, understand what that is, tie it to functionality, and bring in, the purpose of why we do it. So what are some of the purposes that we study Tai Chi? Improve balance, increase circulation, build coordination, and this, aspects of martial aspects, which is, self-defense built inside and camouflaged within the movement. That's not always the interest of most of the practitioners because, at a certain age, you just don't really want to get that physical when it comes to that side of it. So you're just doing it for an interest and to improve the wellness side of and the benefit of that. So wellness, health aspects has to do with, and this is how I look at it, is heightening your systems in the body, your circulatory system, your skeletal structure, your musculature, not in the sense of building lots of strength, but building lots of control and motor skill. So if you're building motor skill and integration of body, you become more complex, integrated being. So you do actually go through this metamorphosis of a uncoordinated person to somewhat more coordinated, and that really varies with time as a function and also a function of how much you put into it. Like they say, the more you put in, the more you get out. So that's what we have to do. Practice. So beat the tiger is a posture. We start here. We end up going through this hand manipulation of skeletal, or actually, this is a sequence of events. There's obviously lots of little detailed motions that have to go into creating this whole series of movements. And then we follow it up with the right heel kick and 2 punches to the ear. Now we went through all those transitions to get to there, but when you first learn it, what do you remember when you do it? You remember. That's about it, right? Because that's what you copied. So when you go through this process, you start to pick up. So that's evolving. And as you pick up, your understanding evolves, and you start to build the understanding. And what helps support all of the refinement is the geometry of position, triangles, circles, and squares, transitions in the legs, which are actually shifting of weight and triangles and squares, even in legs, because you square the hip, you have an angular position here, you pivot your feet to get into certain directions. That's the 45-degree zero. The upper vertical body, and vertical and horizontal I talked about. So we look at elbows as vertical, arms as horizontal, but your body is actually vertical. And then where does it go horizontally? Right to left, right? So, those are dimensional changes, and then when you have dimensional changes, you have to build sort of at least 2 dimensions in movement for you to have volume and space. So volume and space is what we deal with when we're kind of heightening our proprioceptive, systems by controlling that space. So how important is all of that? It's important when you start to lose that perspective, because it's really just knowing. I guess when you're younger and you just don't care about anything, you just do it. So you're kind of in your space, but it's not really controlled. When we're doing this, we're really controlling, where we're going directionally. So I think there must be a benefit to that. What do you think? You think there's a benefit? Yeah. When you're growing up, there's all these terms that tell you how uncoordinated you are. Like when you're stumbling and tripping and you're a klutz and all this stuff, these names. Why do they come up with these terms? Because it's describing how you move. So, okay, so does that help? Yeah, so that's Beat the Tiger. We just went to the corner. Beat the Tiger is just one of the postures that we have. But you see, if you break it down and actually work toward that, and that was something we were talking about going into 2021, that we would work with the different postures to heighten, how to improve it and how to work with it. So we just did Beat the Tiger as a posture. It came out of the order of what we were doing. We never got really much beyond Grasp the Sparrow's Tail in the last couple of classes. So we jumped to the middle, which is actually the beginning of one of the postures in the kicking series. We have those kicks, the 2 instep kicks. So the first instep kick has the same hand movement as the 4th unit, which is the Beat the Tiger unit. So then if you learn it with the first kick, you kind of have the hand movements by the time you get to Beat the Tiger. But if you get it now in the Beat the Tiger, you kind of have it even better as far as this is concerned when you do the first kick. So it's just sort of, you can cross-reference those movements and identify it. So you want to go through the long form now? Yeah. So that was one posture we kind of focused on. So here, ready? Heel kick. Going back to the front. Okay, deep breathing. So we got about 20 minutes, but I'd like to spend a little time kind of um, talk about what's going on with the streaming and the videos and how the live class has been going, and some changes coming up actually in February 1st. There's going to be some. We're going to be facing some of this in the next few weeks. So we've been streaming since the pandemic. The pandemic has affected a lot of businesses, especially the fitness and gyms, including us, which is either classified as wellness, fitness, dance, however you want to classify us. So because there's a lot of people that haven't come back, I started streaming. So we streamed, and we have this unit called the HD 550, I believe, and it's a streaming tool that we've taken advantage over the last almost a year. But because the pandemic has affected our enrollment and our number of members that are actually live here, we had to use some kind of a vehicle to maintain that connection with the members, as well as try to get a new audience. So, it's kind of worked, and it's, we've never really monetized it to the degree that would help us sustain this. So at this point, Lucien has been taking care of all of this over a period of time. But because of the pandemic and because of the drop in enrollment, even this business, as well as the ones that actually have closed, have to try to maintain, a livelihood. So Lucien's going to be changing career, sort of. He's going to be getting another, position at a company. That's something that he's decided to do. So that will happen in February 1st. I think he starts his new position. It's been kind of ongoing. So in place of that, what's going to happen is, all of this has been done voluntarily by by Lucien and a few others. But the thing is, some of that logistics is going to be transferred to some of the SIFUs or long-term members here to kind of share that part of the operation running that unit. So what's going to happen going forward is the morning classes that we've been streaming might have to be modified time-wise. So I don't want to stop streaming because there are people that are still supporting the school that way. Some of the morning streaming things that I was doing is supporting the people that are doing it at home. But, I'd like to invite a few of those people that are coming to a live class if they feel comfortable, where I would maybe have one or two people in a class, in a space like this, one or two people. If you come to a safe environment, it might be okay for you to do that. But if not, then most of the streaming is going to end up in the evenings, because the people that will be doing this actually have real jobs. They work during the day. They can't actually do this. So I'll still have my live classes going forward in the daytime. I think Saturdays will be a day that will stream out. So anybody watching, it's not going away, but it's going into a different time slot. So what will happen, and I've got some ideas about how I want to manage those streaming classes, because can you learn through video? Because I've been streaming, I've done Zoom, I've done a lot of this in live experience. So I think learning live is the best. It's because it's a three-dimensional learning, and we have to have an interaction with a student and teacher to really get the best out of the time. Streaming is valuable for learning. If you don't have a teacher, it's your only access to it. Now, streaming and learning on video is very difficult to learn as a new person. So you really have to be really focused and put a lot of effort into doing that. And some people have done it. I have a few students that came here after doing the streaming. They actually learned several of the Kung Fu forms, And some people, in other countries actually are learning it like this. So if you don't have a teacher, then you will put that effort into it. If you have a teacher and you're doing it live, most likely you're not going to follow the streaming, or you're not going to do as much video. The advantage of video, even for a teacher, is the recollection. If you have a deep experience with martial arts, or you've been a student here for a long time, it's easy for you to follow because we learn visually through recognition, assimilation, and time. So that's the first line of learning, by copying. So video is a way to copy, but here's the challenge. When you turn on the TV or you turn on your laptop and you watch the form, it's backwards. It's backwards. It's not mirror image when you do the form. So the form side of it is very challenging to learn because you have to reverse everything. And not knowing the form to begin with, how can you do it backwards? So that's why we have the mirrors. And the mirrors that we have here has been formatted to adapt to the streaming so that you can at least see the back view. So we have a setup that's actually much better than most, type of learning like this that they don't have the access to the moving of the mirrors to set up that. So even with Zoom, it's very hard to follow that. So what Zoom is actually good for is meetings, verbal interaction, or teaching people that are very skilled, or teaching people with the experience, because they can correlate and relate to what information you're giving them, and they can actually process that and work through the practice. So what I plan to do in the future going forward, we're going to have our live classes, and I'm also going to do streaming simultaneously. But then, like I said before, when you come here, I have to teach to the camera when I do a live stream. But when we do a group class and I do a live stream, it's really just copying. So they can't learn that way. So what I'm going to experiment with, and we're going to do the hour-and-a-half class, maybe the last 20 minutes of that class, I'll come in here and I'll do the Zoom, or one of the instructors will do this as a live teaching of segments of the form, or even reviewing postures like we just did. You can do that on a one-to-one on a video, not doing the form, but doing a tutorial. But there's no interaction, which is the shortfall for this. So unique, because I don't know who's watching and where everyone is. So I want to try to tie that together with Zoom simultaneously. Not simultaneously, but it'll be running. But if we go through a posture, then with the Zoom, so you actually would need two monitors. Then I can get a question and work on that piece with that communication for the people that actually are not here. And this is really geared to the members of the academy. Whatever happens with people that are watching outside of the membership, because, the thing is, I have to support this. So whatever happens out there, the content, if people get something out of that, then that's a benefit to them, and that's a community service. But I have to serve the members and, sustain this. So if people are not coming back, then I think that format might work to give you the best of both worlds. Because you need the communication, you need the visuals, and then you need the content that's going to support the people that really need it. And that's not just advanced students that are here, but there's new people that need that support too. So that's how I'm thinking of doing it. So it's not going to be without bumps. It's going to be taking, some of the experience that I have and tying that together. So we'll see how that works. So what do you think? Anybody have a comment? Yeah. Well, yeah. 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 So changes, there was a book out, about how people are reluctant to change, but change is actually something that we have to adapt to because everything is changing right now. We don't know, Yeah, yeah. So you have to adapt in certain ways and use your creativity or adaptability to run what you run. That's part of life, but it's also part of how you operate a business. But yeah, right now the schedule that we're going to maintain the same schedule that we have, just that some of it, like the morning classes, will stay live. Like Thursdays will be this class. We may not be streaming it because we can do that at another time later in the day. I have a Tai Chi class at 6. So we can either stream that class and then, believe it or not, that class generally has one person in it. So that's live. So there's no difference in how I can run that class because there's only one person. We have more people here doing the live stream. So this will end up being live. It will be like a Thursday morning class, like as usual. And then the Wednesday is a little bit different because I do the modern 24 and I do a broadsword. And those are half-hour classes that a few people that have learned the form of following. So that's the option. If they want to go live, they can come here to do that if they choose to. But if they don't, then I may on Wednesday do the weapons class at 5:30 and then do a half an hour there or whatever, and then tie that into the stream as a lesson or whatever, and then so that's one day. And then the Parkinson's class that I do after this usually is 20 minutes. So I might move that into that 6 o'clock slot at the last half hour and do 20 minutes of Parkinson's at the end of that session. And anyone that does that class will do some of the things that I think are beneficial to people with Parkinson's. But it's also a benefit to you, even though you may not have those issues or maybe have problems walking or moving. You still will learn to understand the benefits of Tai Chi and how it supports the Parkinson's and support you. Not that you may get it. Who knows? Parkinson's, it's just something that could happen. So you already have a heads up on some of the benefits Tai Chi offers for balance, mobility, taking out some of the tension in the body, and different tactics like that, or strategies. So I try to, maintain everything that we're doing, but just kind of tweaking the times and when it happens. So, but overall, it's, the reason why we're doing this is for the wellness side of it and to, develop some insight as to why certain things that we do work. Maybe some of it doesn't work, huh? But any feedback? Yeah. So you don't have to worry about this class. It's going to happen anyways. So we have Tuesday morning class, Thursday morning class, and Saturday morning class at 9:30. So those stay consistent. So the schedule really, on that side of it, won't change. The streaming side will disappear in the mornings, possibly for the ones that I do live streaming. That'll shift, and if there's any change, it's going to be add-on. It'll be added on, but a little bit later. So we have the ability to turn the unit on. That's the thing. When we turn the unit on, there's some logistics we have to do, and some titling, and some, there's some things that they have to do. So that's it. We did the long form, we did the short form, and we did the announcement. So, you have a question? So Beat the Tiger, we worked on that today, but over the years we haven't been so focused on concentrating on the individual postures. I want to do that this year. Yeah. So the Beat the Tiger actually was something that we did when Mara first started. We spent some time on Beat the Tiger, and it was confusing then. Yeah. 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 So yeah. So in the classes, they call it dosing. You get a dose of that posture. But like anything, there's a learning curve, but then you can't recall everything that you did, so you have to actually spend some time on one unit. So I think if I do, the classes like the way I'm talking about, then that 20 minutes at the end of some of those classes will be focused on a recorded video. And one of the things that we were doing was a Patreon. That was kind of a so I think we might change that to on. Lucian told me that we have something that's already set up that he worked on as a membership to YouTube. So the membership and there's tiers to that, and that's a little bit of a way to, get some revenue to support some of this, so that people that want to be members online like that, and some people already are doing that with it's called the Patreon, and but the thing is, there's another layer of getting those videos into that platform. So with the membership side of it, I think it's more straightforward. That's got to be all worked out to see how that works. So, yeah, yeah, yeah. So there's at least 37 videos. Well, a lot of the stuff is redundant. It's in the form is just like extracted. But this, of the 37 postures, there's a lot of common stuff that happens in them, and you can. So once you build the sort of the building blocks, just like they used to have on the commercial, the Wonder Bread 12 building blocks. Well, these are our building blocks, the fundamentals. In music, they call them scales. You can call them the ABCs of movement. So that's how we have to learn. So. Mhm. Yeah, yeah. So actually, that is actually bringing in additional things that should be happening, because what when you don't do it, you're talking about doing something over time, you get develop bad habits, but bad habits just if you do something long enough, you know how to the difference. So that actually is kind of helpful to actually, as long as you've been doing it, you can actually sort of correct it. You will correct it, but the thing is, when you add on the adjustment of the position and that type of thing, that becomes really another level of um, body intelligence. That side of it is the same as relaxing your elbow and sinking your shoulder. It doesn't sink, it doesn't relax because you haven't done it, but it doesn't mean that that's a habit. It's just you just didn't know. It's like writing a word without a certain letter. It's not a habit. It's just misspelling it. Once you know how to spell it, you add that letter, then you'll correct it, and that's what we have to do here. We have to fill in the blanks that are missing, and the blanks that are missing is a level. It's not really, it's just missing. So, anyways, on that note, it's about time. Yep, 11 o'clock.